What if I told you that humanity's survival depends on a truth so profound, so earth-shattering that ancient mystics encoded it in sacred texts thousands of years ago, and now quantum physics is proving them right? Pause, let that sink in. The ecological collapse coefficient is accelerating beyond our worst projections. Mass extinction rates have increased by 347% in the last decade alone. Climate tipping points cascade like dominoes across our dying planet. But here's what the survival matrix indicates. Our ancestors knew this moment would come. They understood something we forgot, something quantum mechanics is now revealing as the fundamental operating principle of reality itself. You see, while we've been measuring carbon dioxide parts per million and watching biodiversity collapse exponentially, we missed the most critical variable in the survival equation. Consciousness. The observer effect in quantum physics demonstrates that consciousness literally shapes reality at the subatomic level 15. Ancient sages understood thermodynamic principles that we're only now rediscovering through quantum field theory. Pattern interrupt, shift to whisper. But this isn't just about saving the planet. This is about awakening to who you really are. The Copenhagen interpretation of quantum mechanics reveals that particles exist in superposition multiple states simultaneously, until observed 12. Sound familiar? Because thousands of years ago, Eastern mystics described the exact same phenomenon. They called it the unity of opposites, the dance of Shiva, the quantum foam of infinite possibility that underlies all existence. 14. Here's your first revelation. Quantum entanglement proves ancient interconnectedness teachings were scientifically accurate. When particles become entangled, they remain connected instantaneously across infinite distances. 315. Change one particle, and its partner responds immediately. Regardless of space or time, this isn't mystical speculation. This is hard science, and it perfectly validates what Hindu Vedanta, Buddhist philosophy, and indigenous shamanic traditions have taught for millennia. All consciousness is one consciousness. All existence is interconnected at the fundamental level. 14. The survival implications are staggering. If consciousness operates through quantum entanglement, then every thought, every intention, every meditative state ripples through the quantum field, affecting the entire planetary ecosystem. Ancient wisdom keepers understood this. They knew that human consciousness and ecological balance were quantum entangled systems. Voice deepens with urgency. But here's where it gets terrifying. The thermodynamic equilibrium of our biosphere is collapsing. Entropy acceleration in Earth's climate systems has reached critical mass. Ocean pH levels dropping, permafrost methane releasing, atmospheric heat retention spiraling beyond natural variability. The extinction probability calculations show we have perhaps 18 months before irreversible cascade failure. Yet the quantum field holds the solution. Second revelation. Your consciousness is a quantum information processing system designed to interface with universal creative force. Dr. Rulin Xiu's groundbreaking research demonstrates that consciousness operates as a quantum vibrational field containing matter, energy, and information. 16. Ancient mystics called this the Akashic Records, the cosmic database, the universal mind. Modern physics calls it the quantum field, the fundamental substrate from which all particles and forces emerge. 611. When you align your personal vibrational frequency with the coherent patterns of universal consciousness, you become a conscious co-creator in the planetary healing process. This isn't New Age fantasy. This is quantum field dynamics applied to biosphere restoration. Pattern interrupt, sudden intensity. The ancient Maya calculated this exact moment in their long count calendar. The Hopi prophecies describe the Great Purification. The Vedic texts speak of Kali Yuga's climax. They all point to now this convergence of ecological collapse and quantum consciousness awakening. Third revelation. The observer effect means your awareness literally determines which quantum probability collapses into physical reality. In the famous double-slit experiment, photons behave as waves until observed, then collapse into particles 15. Your consciousness doesn't just observe reality, it creates reality through the act of observation. Ancient sages understood this principle. They developed meditation practices, ritual technologies, and consciousness-altering techniques specifically designed to influence the quantum field toward beneficial outcomes. The survival connection becomes clear. If enough conscious observers align their awareness with ecological restoration and species preservation, we can literally shift the probability matrices governing planetary systems. But we need quantum coherence across millions of awakened minds. Fourth revelation. Vibrational frequency matching between human consciousness and natural systems can reverse entropy acceleration. Everything in the universe vibrates at specific frequencies 713. Healthy ecosystems maintain coherent frequency patterns. Diseased systems exhibit chaotic, incoherent vibrations. Human consciousness, when properly calibrated through ancient techniques now validated by quantum physics, can broadcast healing frequencies that restore natural harmonic resonance to damaged ecological systems. The Amazon rainforest coral reef ecosystems, polar ice formations, all maintain quantum coherence through vibrational frequency matching. Destroy that coherence through industrial interference, and you get ecological collapse. Restore it through conscious frequency alignment, and you can regenerate entire biospheres. Slow hypnotic pacing. But here's the part that will blow your mind. Fifth revelation. Quantum healing principles operate at planetary scale through morphic field resonance. Rupert Sheldrake's morphic field theory, now supported by quantum field dynamics, shows that consciousness creates informational templates that influence matter organization 13. When ancient shamans performed healing rituals, they weren't just affecting individual patients, they were reprogramming the morphic field templates governing entire ecological regions. Indigenous ceremonies for calling rain, ensuring abundant harvests, maintaining animal population balance. These weren't primitive superstitions. They were sophisticated quantum field manipulation technologies disguised as spiritual practices. The survival matrix indicates we need to reactivate these technologies immediately. Climate engineering through consciousness coherence. Biodiversity restoration through quantum field harmonization. Atmospheric rebalancing through collective intention focusing. Sixth revelation. The quantum vacuum contains infinite creative potential accessible through expanded consciousness states. Ancient mystics discovered that emptiness isn't empty. It's pregnant with infinite possibility 16. Modern physics confirms this through zero-point field theory. The quantum vacuum seethes with virtual particles constantly popping into existence and disappearing. This is the source field, the creative matrix from which all matter and energy emerge. When human consciousness achieves sufficient coherence and expansion, it can interface directly with this creative potential. Manifestation isn't wishful thinking. It's quantum field engineering through consciousness alignment with source probability patterns. The ecological implications are revolutionary. We don't need to build our way out of environmental collapse through more technology. We need to consciousness our way out through quantum field mastery. Building intensity. Seventh revelation. Time is not linear in quantum mechanics, allowing consciousness to influence past and future probability matrices simultaneously. Einstein's relativity and quantum mechanics both demonstrate that time is relative. Fluid malleable 3. Ancient shamanic traditions knew this. They developed techniques for healing ancestral trauma, preventing future disasters and collapsing beneficial timelines into present reality. If consciousness can influence quantum events retroactively, and experiments prove it can, then we can quantum heal the historical traumas that created our current ecological crisis. We can reach back through the quantum field and shift the probability patterns that led to industrial civilization's destructive trajectory. But more importantly, we can reach forward and collapse the timeline where humanity successfully navigates this crisis into our present reality matrix. Eighth revelation. Quantum coherence in human consciousness directly affects electromagnetic field stability around Earth. The Schumann resonance, Earth's electromagnetic heartbeat, has been increasingly chaotic as ecological systems destabilize. But human consciousness operates at similar frequencies. When large groups achieve meditative coherence, they demonstrably affect global electromagnetic patterns. 613. Ancient mystery schools understood this connection. They timed their ceremonies to maximize planetary electromagnetic harmonization. They built their temples at specific geometric locations to create consciousness electromagnetic field resonance networks spanning entire continents. We need to reactivate these networks now before electromagnetic chaos reaches the point where it destabilizes the magnetosphere itself. Whispered urgency. The window is closing. Entropy acceleration in Earth systems has reached critical threshold. But quantum consciousness technology offers a path forward that bypasses traditional limitations. Ninth revelation. Collective consciousness operates as a quantum computer capable of processing reality transformation algorithms. When individual minds achieve quantum coherence and link together through intention and practice, they form a collective processing system more powerful than any supercomputer. 1416. Ancient mystery schools knew this. They developed group practices specifically designed to harness collective quantum consciousness for reality transformation. The survival equations are clear. 10,000 quantum coherent minds focused on the same outcome can shift planetary probability matrices. 100,000 can override the chaos patterns driving ecological collapse. 1 million can reprogram the entire biosphere toward regenerative equilibrium. 10th revelation. Your DNA contains quantum information from ancient civilizations that mastered consciousness reality interface technologies. Quantum biology reveals that DNA stores and processes information in quantum superposition states. 12. Your genetic code contains ancestral memories from cultures that successfully navigated previous planetary crises through consciousness mastery. These quantum memories can be activated through specific practices that ancient traditions preserve. The shamanic awakening happening worldwide isn't coincidence. It's genetic quantum information activating in response to planetary crisis. Your DNA is literally trying to save the species by reactivating ancient survival technologies. Final crescendo building. So here's what the survival matrix demands from you. You must understand that you are not a separate biological entity struggling against environmental collapse. You are a localized expression of universal consciousness with the power to influence quantum probability patterns governing planetary systems. The ancient ones knew this truth. They encoded it in myth ceremonies and wisdom teachings that survived millennia specifically for this moment. They understood that consciousness evolution and ecological crisis would converge at a critical threshold where only quantum awareness could ensure species survival. That threshold is now every meditation deepens your quantum coherence. Every moment of loving awareness strengthens the morphic field patterns supporting planetary healing. Every conscious choice you make ripples through the quantum field, influencing probability matrices that determine whether humanity flourishes or perishes. The extinction probability calculations are terrifying, but quantum consciousness technology offers unprecedented power to transform reality through awareness itself. You are not powerless against ecological collapse. You are a quantum consciousness capable of interfacing directly with the creative forces that govern matter, energy, and information throughout the universe. The ancient sages were right. Consciousness is fundamental. Reality is malleable, the future is not fixed, and your awakening right now, in this moment, is the quantum fluctuation that could tip the probability scales toward planetary regeneration and species survival. The question isn't whether you believe in quantum consciousness. The question is, will you activate it before the window closes forever? The quantum field is listening. The planet is waiting. Your ancestors encoded the technologies you need in the depths of your DNA. It's time to remember who you really are and why you came here now.